Okay, recapping Saturday, again, to me, again, tough loss there to Michigan State. I thought our guys, thought our competitive level was pretty good. We got to find ways to dig a little more out as we go through the season, but I thought our kids did compete pretty well as far as their effort, flying around and hanging in there a little bit. We let the game get away right at the end of the first half, first possession of the second half. You know, it's, I think it's 14-14. We let them score within inside a minute. And then they take the opening kick down, score to make it 28-14. And I think we start the third quarter 35. We get it 28-21. I think we start the third quarter 35-21. We go 3 and out, and they pop 2 long runs to make it 42-21. So just a couple lulls there that got us. Got to keep pushing defensively. Run game, third down stops. 2 weeks in a row where some teams really have worked us a little bit better on third down than we need them to. We've got to keep making progress. It's evident. I think we have through the open date, through Penn State, and some things not the other day exactly like we need to have happen as far as just executing or getting it done, but I think we're capable. We've got to keep pushing. We've got to keep getting better there short term for this week, short term for the season, and long terms we keep building, so we got to keep making some strides there. Offensively, I thought we had a strong challenge last week. We got another one this week, and there's a bunch in the Big Ten you're going to get. I thought our performance relative to others was actually pretty good, but our performance compared to ourselves needs to be better. I think Notre Dame had 220 against them. Iowa goes 3 and out 10 times. We did it twice. At the same time, we left some plays on the field. And when you're playing a good team, you can't be close. Protection's got to hold up long enough that we can squeeze it and make a competitive play. We got to keep the run game balanced. And I think we were 8 of 18 on third down. I think they give up about 23-24% for the year. Going into that game, they were first or second, and third down. I think now they're fifth. So a little bit better, but you need a few more third downs. When we play our tempo, we got to stay on the field. So we didn't go 3 and out. We went 5 and out, 6 and out a few times. Got 1 first down and bogged down, so we got to be a little better there. Kicking game has made some strides 2 weeks in a row. Made a play there in the special teams with the fumble punt recovery, which we needed. Got points after that. We had 2 turnovers Saturday. Both helped us with points. Timmy Bennett's interception in the fourth quarter, and then the fumble punt return that Matt Dooley got collected for us. 2 weeks in a row, that's been better. It's got to keep pushing. Big Ten play, road play. I thought our kicking game was a push in that game. Needed to be a win. I think Michigan State's a very good kicking team, and I thought we did okay against them. I think the kick out of bounds after the 1 score got us. When it's 28-21, they went to 35 after that. Mitch has been a little better than that. We had a chance at an onside opportunity. It was a little bit late. Would have been uphill. We didn't execute that great. But kicking was good. It'll need to be good this week. Players we recognized, our offensive player of the game played very, very hard. Don't know if he played well all the time, but his energy and effort was awesome. Was Ted Bolzer. Just playing fast. It's not always perfect, and he's out of control sometimes, but in running and blocking, but he's playing with a lot of heart. And I think we've got a great example for some of our guys and the efforts. Appreciate his performance. He can play better too, and we're going to need him to back it up this week and down the stretch with the 6 remaining conference games. But Ted did very well. Defensively, we didn't recognize anyone. I don't know if anyone played, necessarily everyone played horrible, but no one played at what we consider a championship level that we need. Kicking game, we recognized 2 guys. Matt Dooley had a tackle plus the fumble recovery. Always does a great job as our snapper. Has since he's been here. We didn't have one that first spring. It was almost embarrassing that first spring to practice a kicking play. He had guests on campus, and since he's been here, he's been really, really solid and outstanding player. We also recognize Ted Bolzer. Did a great job in kick coverage and on punt teams. So Teddy shows up twice. What an accident. Great effort. Scouts of the week on the defensive side, Chase Dutra, Chris Smith, 2 guys with red shirt that we're excited about. Playing a couple of linebackers, but Chris is awfully good. Got to give him a little bigger. He's fast, talented, and Chase is doing really good settling in at the safety spot for us as the defensive scouts. And offensively, Tyler Lukens, an O-lineman. That's a walk-on kid for us. And then Michael Cooper, kid that transferred in from Arizona. That's right now is a walk-on player. We'll see how he progresses in our plans, but nice to see Mike do well. Moving on now, we got Michigan, 5-1. Their game will be played probably 9 million times this week, and they'll get tired of seeing it. Everyone in the country will, with the 4 overtime game they had against Penn State. Again, had chances to win that game and didn't, but could and should be undefeated. Of course, it is a quality program, tradition, team, talent, facilities, coaching. It's a good place, good as there is in the country. It's a great challenge. It's a great opportunity. and look forward to this week for our kids working with it. They are, number one, I don't think they've lost at home since Coach Hoke's been there. So again, always great challenge to play on the road, and to win on the road is difficult. We got to keep building our place here to make it difficult at home when people come here, because the field's the same size, but it's the energy of the building that makes it different. The locker room might be a little different, but you got a locker space and you got a shower. But the dimensions of the field are always the same, but the surroundings. So it's a great opportunity and challenge to go up there and play those men this week. Offensively led by the quarterback, who leads their team in rushing. He's not truly a running quarterback. He's a guy that would just pick his spots. They do some design quarterback run, but not a lot. It's a little bit more, and they've got some players you need to match up and do some of your bracket coverage relating to receivers. And when you relate to receivers, the one guy you don't cover is the quarterback. He has a nice knack of going through progression 1 and 2 and scrambling out and getting 5 and 6 and 8 yards, extending plays. And I think he's averaging 73 yards a game rushing, 212, 13 yards passing. And they're not throwing it a significant amount, trying to get 35, 40, 45, 50 carries a game, and complement that with 25, 30 passes. A good play action team, move the pocket team. Their running back, Toussaint's also a quality player, averaging 70. So they're getting 150 yards out of 2 guys, averaging about 200 a game, high 180s or something. 2 really good receiver players with their receiver, Jeremy Gallen, and their tight end, Funchess, who's a really good mismatch and a very good receiving tight end. A kid we tried to recruit, we got here, I thought was a great player. So some good offensive skill set. When you're talking Michigan, like we're talking Penn State, like last week you're talking Michigan State, you're talking big guys, so you're talking a good line as well. I think they're complaining their line needs to be better because they have a standard of one of the elite lines in the country. But it'll be a tremendous challenge for our defense with who the blocks they got to get off of the skill set, quarterback can throw, and not necessarily a true running quarterback, but a guy that can make some plays with his feet. Defensively, really good up front. Clark, Black, Washington, Black's brother played here, Larry's brother, quality players up front. Their defensive coordinator's a front guy, their head coach is a front guy. They start their program with the defensive perspective and really stout up front, play a bunch of guys. Quality at linebacker with Morgan and Bolden and Ross and some guys, and then on the back end with some guys we recruited and know that are pretty good players there. So challenge defensively. At the same time, we look forward to that challenge. It's going to be a challenge for them as we compete against their offense. So it'll be a great opportunity. Good in the kicking game. Again, we've made strides, but to win on the road, we got to keep getting better. And the real challenge this week, even though we're going on the road and playing some great players and a great team, it's about us getting better. It's obvious from last game. We got to keep making defensive strides, consistency. Offense, we got to continue to make competitive plays and be physical. Kicking game's okay, but got to keep coming. And we'll need to be good in all 3 phases to go to Ann Arbor this week.
In the middle of the season, as it grinds on, how do you go about improving just angles that the defense takes to bring guys down, or just vision on the field to recognize when there's going to be a crossing pattern and a pick might be developing, things like that?
Again, we got to, as always, we even talked last night with our players and as we did at work and with coaches. You're getting a point where you will physically wear down if you do too much. You also need to do better, so you need to address some things. There's a fine line balance here. You're at a point in time where if you spend too much time on fundamentals, you don't get your schematics and your structure, your defense set, which we need to do. If we spend a lot of time on structure, do our fundamentals get sloppy? So it's trying to teach our coaches and players how to emphasize fundamentals as we play as a team. And we don't have time to go spend 15, 20 minutes every day on just pass rush moves or proper tackling. We've got to do that during the structure, what we're doing. You do a lot during practice of full go up work. We do some tackling drills. One of the reasons you do full go up is some of the friendly fire. Like we had 2 offensive linemen last week dinged up. I think we got a chance, both of those, one practice last night. We'll see. I think we'll have them both as we go through the week, but we'll see. But those guys it's friendly fire because you're sitting there blocking, the guy makes a tackle and falls up the back of your leg. So it's tough in practice. You want to go out and let's hit and let's get tougher. We do that. But there's a fine line there. What we're talking about, Ken, is just we need to, one, be a lot more disciplined in practice. So one, we get things, if we practice a play wrong and repeat it and do it again, we practice the next play wrong and repeat it and do it again. We have as many reps of practicing it wrong as we do practicing it right. We have as many good swings as we have bad swings. So it's a little bit getting our attention. And practice is about improving. You're going to make mistakes. We don't want to be perfect. Yeah. But there's also you need to take the practice field. We've already talked about our team. The energy that you need. We're talking a 1-week run, next week's an open day. We can regroup, we can assess, we can take a deep breath, we can freshen up, we can get our treatments and get clean for that last 5-game run of the Big Ten schedule. But this week, to me, we need some energy and practice and attention to detail to not be as sloppy. Because again, if you're, it's practice is not making perfect if it's not good practice. And so that's some things we've talked about. So at the same time, you can take angles in practice, but when you're running against a running back that's a 4.7, 4.8 guy, and a guy's a 4.5, it's different angles. So it's just, sometimes it's just awareness and playing through it. We got to keep keeping edges on the defense, not letting plays get around us. We got to continue to keep having ways of not, you don't want to give up the big play. You soften your coverage sometimes. You soften your coverage, you're giving up cheap shots, you don't have fast run support. If you got the run support, don't let it over the top. So it's back and forth, and we'll get a good challenge to these guys. So we just got to keep working at it.
Yeah, you mentioned a couple of offensive linemen got dinged last week. You guys have had some tough luck in that regard. How much of an issue is that? Even some of the guys playing are dinged up right now. How much of an issue is that right now?
It is what it is. I think everybody's got a little bit of that too now. And, it's hard to play, and you got to have depth. That's why it's year 3. And every time we're putting guys, there's no true freshmen running out there like there's been in years past. So it's better than it is. Coach Fry does a good job. Those guys have been competitive. Again, we consider and say we're without this lineman, yet at the same time we're having some success because we've got some decent players, and those guys got to pick it up. And schematically, we got to do things to give them a chance. You got to put them in good play. We always tell a receiver, if a guy's running a corner route, he's not necessarily beating the corner. He's beating the defensive lineman rushing the quarterback because you got to get open before they get there. It's all how it syncs and works together. So to me, it's just matchups, and that's some of the fun things about coaching is trying to put your guys in places where they can do their job. So there's a bunch of plays, a bunch of ways to skin the cat. But I think our line needs to keep doing better. I think every coach in the country would tell you their line needs to keep doing better because it's never good to the end of the year and you look back at what you accomplished. Our defense has got to keep doing better. I think everyone in the country would say that, no matter if you're doing good or bad. Those guys have responded in a positive way. Has it been what you want? No. Is it perfect or ideal? No. But it's also what a lot of teams get, and you deal with it. And we're trying to deal with it in the right way, and I think for the most part we have. And we'll continue this week. Again, Ralston practiced last night. He just fell in. I think he'll be okay. And then we'll get Jake here. See, he just got an ankle in here, and we'll see how that thing progresses. And the other guys, we still, Peyton Eckert's back, still has not responded. Of course, we lost Kaminsky with the knee injury and Feeney. So it is what it is. But again, we've got some second-year guys, third-year guys, and fourth-year guys, and we're not void. And those guys got to step up. That's why you got 85 scholarships. That's why you sign 18, 20, 22 a year. Next guy's got to come in and fight for us, and I expect they will. And I believe Greg will do a great job with them. And then we got to schematically put them in good places against a very good front.
On third down, has there been a trend to when they're getting conversions? Can you see kind of a common point of why they're able to get the conversions, whether it be recognition or breaking on a ball that's in the air, things like that?
Last week, Michigan State did a really good job of getting third downs that were very manageable, so they could run or pass. When you're playing really good first and second down defense, we didn't have a lot of negative plays last week. We didn't have a lot of 0 yardage plays, which is always something we're looking for. How many times offensively are you having positive gains? Defensively, how many times are they having 0 or negative gains, whether it be an incomplete pass or a no-gain run? Last week they were on schedule too much, so their third downs got very manageable, and then they executed it well.
Did you see anything on film after the game, either good or bad, that wasn't immediately evident, right after the game about your team?
I thought as it was going, and same thing watching it, we were going to be a little disappointed when we saw the tape because there were some plays we needed to make we didn't make, but they were competitive plays. Defensively, we needed to get off some blocks and make some stops. We had a third down stop one time, we jump off sides. We got a competitive play one time that a call was reversed. I actually thought it was a good call when they reversed it. He was down, but when you look at it, from the angles we had, but he had some chances to get some stops we didn't. I think in their first drive, they go 3 third down conversions, their second drive 2 or 3. You're seeing there it's 14-14, and we had a busted opportunity in the first half where you start with a touchdown, 3 and out. We don't do much. We punt it inside the 5, which is a huge play. We hold them, get it right back, and we take it down to the 15-yard line where we got a chance to maybe get some more points, and we didn't. You come from there, it's 14-14. They score right at the end of the half, And then they take the opening kickoff, got a 2-possession game, and from there we were slugging uphill. We're just a little off offensively, and couldn't get back in it. And the guys defensively kind of hung, but I thought the guys, during the game played hard, not as well as we needed to. But when you play a good team, sometimes that gets exposed. I can go over here to the Muni where it's wide open and hit it all over the place and take some 9-irons and knock it on greens because there's nothing in the way. And when you're playing a real course and there's some bunch of stuff in the way, you spray it all over the place and you get exposed. When you're playing a good team and you're not on exactly, you get exposed. And we missed some things because it was competitive. At the same time, I thought our kids competed. I didn't think it was, and I think it's pretty good. I mean, I think we're getting to a point where we're playing a team that shoot their best in this league. One of them, there's 2 or 3 others that's going to be really, really good. This team we're playing this week is really good on defense, but one of the best in the country defensively. And we're sitting here complaining we didn't score more, and it's as much as anyone scored, and we know we can do better, and that's exciting. I think it's exciting. Our fans are starting to feel. We're starting to expect more, and I think our kids are. I think you guys are. I think it's pretty good. It's what you want. And losing is, it's not what you want, and it's not moral victories. We got to get those daggum 3rd down stops. It's going to be hard this week. Good team, but we're getting to a point where we need to start winning these games. And we got one Big Ten team. We didn't get the next one. Got a huge challenge this week. We keep building and get these teams, and it's going to be a very, very hard challenge. But I think it's, to me, what you see is that you saw correctable things. And some things that, hey, if this guy can't do this, or maybe we shouldn't do this schematically, let's keep coaching better. Make sure we're putting them in better position, when to blitz, when not, how to protect, when not. Make sure you're getting the matchups with lineman injuries. You're giving yourself a chance that guys can do their jobs. But at the end of the day, too, I just think it's evident that we're coming because we played a pretty good team. We didn't play well. We're still kind of in it fighting, and everybody's kind of frustrated about it and not happy. And that's kind of where we want to get to. And it's not negative. It's just kind of what you want. Let's keep coming. And so there's no more victories. Nobody's happy. Nobody said, well, we did this relative to them. No, we didn't do as well as we could, but that was a pretty good team, and you got exposed. Let's keep growing and limit our exposure as we move forward.
Did you guys see continued progression in terms of, alignment, guys having their eyes where they're supposed to be, the basic fundamental stuff?
Not as good. Not as good. And again, just because of they wrinkled a couple formations, went an unbalanced deal on us, and it took us a while we just basically, they went a tackle over with an extra tight end and kicked it over, and a couple linebackers, just some things that are correctable. At the same time, we didn't want to go out last night and correct everything like everything Saturday was flawed. There was a lot of things to build on, a lot of opportunities. We missed a few, and so we didn't make yesterday a negative of all the things that were broken, but we did talk about what should have been fixed, what could be fixed, what we anticipate to see this week, what we anticipate maybe how we get attacked on both sides. So it was okay, but again, it needs to be better. And I think it's a part of being, a little bit youthful, a little bit on the road, a little bit different personnel settings. We got to keep growing and fighting through it. Same deal offensively. We got a few glitches in protection with it breaking down. The quarterback needs a little more time to squeeze it or make it back shoulder, put a little bit more air, and you're just a little rushed. Because again, every play Saturday from the offense was competitive. Every play defensively was a little bit more challenging than we needed, but we got to keep growing from that. And that was my deal, is I thought we grew the last few weeks. And last week was a pretty good week of work. I don't know if it was our best week of practice, but it was pretty good. Our game was okay, but needs to be better, but we can grow from that. And that's what we try to take. Like look at where you're at, where we can be better, for sure where we can better short term. What is fixable short term? And that's all we talked about yesterday, and then we started talking about this opportunity with these guys.
At the midway point of the season, what do
You guys are wearing blue and gold too. Is there a little connection there?
What's that?
I got blue and I got gold on over there.
Didn't even
Just
realize
noticed
that.
that.
But
Other schools, they would dismiss you from the What's up with that?
At the midpoint of the season, what do you really like about where this program is, and what continues to be the biggest frustration for you?
I like that our kids, I think, are all in and giving us a good go, a lot. And I like being around our guys. And shoot, we're down there right now having some fun, just game planning and the challenge of it. So I like that. The frustrating thing is I want some seniors to selfishly find a way to get these wins, and these wins aren't easy, and to learn the process and the preparation, how hard it is. Because a couple weeks ago when we had some success, a message from someone said, "Hey, Big Ten wins are hard. Enjoy," and it was from a very respected coach. And mental, and it kind of put me like, hey, we hadn't had a lot of those anyway. But all wins are hard, and this week, last week was a hard win, and we weren't up to it. But I think we can learn and grow from it. This week is another tremendous hard opportunity to go get, but we can learn and grow. And if the one thing I expect this team to keep coming. And you can sit there, we always talk about our no huddle stuff. Somebody said, always, should we go faster? I'm watching our kids in the fourth quarter. I don't see the defense laying around. Maybe we don't make the tackle or get it communicated right, or they're fed up right. Man, I don't see them walking around like they're tired, hanging their heads. I see some energy in our team as we move around, and to me that's encouraging. We talk about the straps. Thing I said a week ago, Oregon's defense is second in the country in total defense, scoring defense. Yeah, playing tempo. You just got to. That's our style, and maybe that's not the ideal style, but I think that's the style for where that fits our cards right now. It's going to be challenging this week because Michigan can play some ball control, and the quarterback can extend some plays, and they can keep the ball away from you. And then their defense is going to be good enough that you can't have the turnovers and the negative plays and the 3 and outs, and you got to find points. And when you're playing teams like this, points are hard. They just don't give them. They just don't give it away. That's why they win a lot. That's why they won all these games at home in a row. So, but the frustrating thing to me is you want to keep finding ways to get these W's so that our fans, our recruits, and for the seniors that bought in, they can taste what they're working for. But they work like it, and they play like it, and they're fun to coach, and they're fun to be around. You can go right down to the cafeteria right now, and I'm telling you, they're watching Sports Center, and they're having a good time, enjoying themselves, and get ready to go to class. It's a group that is very enjoyable, and we need to give them some enjoyable Saturdays.
Kevin, when you talk about practice and energy level and attention to detail and that sort of thing, is that something that you've seen a noticeable difference between the 3 weeks that you've won and the 3 weeks that you've lost?
I thought last week was pretty good, but not as good as the week before. And just not because we're cocky or overconfident. I don't know if sometimes just how much gas is in the tank, and that's where as coaches you got to be smart. How much fundamental work do you do? What is your script that gives your guys a chance to be productive? I made a comment the other day. We ran a go ball, and the next formation ran, the receiver had to run 50 yards downfield and 50 yards over the other side of the line up. That's 100 yards of running. And then you're yelling at him for not playing fast. He just ran 100 real fast. And in about 15, 18 seconds, he ran 50, ran back over 50, and now he said go fast again. I go, you got to put them in good spots, and you got to do that in practice sometimes. So as always, I think, we're, as coaches, a part of the problem, part of the solution. And especially when you think your kids are giving you a good go. Now, I thought we had a pretty good week against Missouri. Just didn't play as well. Pretty good opponent, got exposed on some things. I thought the same thing last week. So I don't think there's been a lot of days where, again, I came through preseason. I just thought we got a little relaxed week 2 after the first game we scored so many points. Just a little giddy. But other than that, I think our kids have practiced really good. And we're asking this week with an open day come, we need them to dig into the tank a little bit and have the juice and the energy that you need to come out and have great meetings, have great preparation. 4-day week of class. We got fall break Friday. So 4 days of academics. Travel up there Friday. It'll be a very similar trip that we just took. We're going to an airport a little bit to the right and a hotel a little bit more to the right. Other than that, it's the same travel. So we ought to have that down pretty good. Let's rock and roll.
Just looking back one more time at the Michigan State game, play selection in the first half, there were, I think, 26 dropbacks and only 9 rushes, and the final numbers were 53 dropbacks and only 15 rushes for running back. In hindsight, I know you respected Michigan State's run defense, but when you broke it down, did you feel it became maybe a little bit too one-sided to the pass? Well,
they're not going, Iowa, I think the week before had 23, 24 yards rushing. And with the kid, it was one of the leaders in the country running. Tev's a good runner. They're going to outnumber you, outgap you. They're pretty good up front. They're really good at linebacker, but they really just, the structure of their defense, they're going to give you things. Matter of fact, we didn't really execute one part of our game plan as much as we needed to in the throw game. Now, a lot of our stuff, when you say drop backs, it's not like we're sitting there holding the ball and some things we do. So some of those are run pass combos and he's spitting it out. So we call it, we don't know what he's doing sometimes. It could be and we actually count that as a part of our rushing total. This is a running play, and he might throw the ball. Statistically, you will say that's a pass. Shane Wynn is now getting credit for a rushing touchdown because his alignment was too deep and he ran a bad route because it was an illegal play. We don't want him to have a lateral pass. We want that an incomplete ball. He was too deep, ran it wrong. Now the stat gurus say it's a rushing touchdown. It was a poorly executed play by him. So we look at our run total, like we look at our screen game as a part of our run game. Because, linemen are blocking, it's a little bit of rush, it's a little bit, so when we look at pass, sometimes like how much of it is stress pass versus it's the combos and the quarterback's just taking what's there. Be the same thing this week, and we got to find a way to get some run game, but, and that's where Trey gives us a little bit more. Again, Nate's still, the guy that is doing things, but we said all along, and I don't think Trey came out of, when Nate played a little bit better, we went to Nate. I think he kind of lulled mentally in a funk for a week or so and wasn't sharp. I think he's gotten past that now, and he's playing us back to like we want him to play and even more. And do we get into, I don't want to do it by drives, but again, he does give you some dynamics where he can run. I do think he can tell you threw the ball better than Nate last week. I do think Nate's a much better thrower than Trey, but Trey's a really good thrower. Trey's a really good, he's going to be a high-level quarterback, and we expect Nate to be. Neither one of them are very good right now. They're just okay. They got a chance to be really good. And I'm not down on them. They're just young and learning. There's nothing wrong with those guys. One guy's a smidge more mobile. One guy's got a really good arm, but they're both really good quarterbacks. So is Cam Kaufman. So we got to keep pushing those quarterbacks to be better. But you do get a little bit more running with Trey. And so maybe that's a part of it. But, to say we're just going to just ram it down your throat, we do need some balance, yes. And again, we were not going to drop back on Michigan State as much as we just try to pick our spots and take care of the matchups, and we need to make a couple plays we didn't make.
Kevin, you've been getting a lot from Bowles. You mentioned it twice today with special teams as well as the offensive play. Just can you talk about the way he's played this season and maybe the way he's progressed from the time you arrived to where he is now?
Well, I actually coached him the first year, and because of the way we structured and did things, I think having coached Latrell for 2 years in a row, because he went from a coach, then to me, then to Seth, so I think having some continuity as far as what he's hearing every day and the guy relating to him. And I do think he has a great sense of urgency because he knows it's his last time. He wants a chance to be an NFL player, and it's going to be tough for him. He's not a true body that fits some of their things in special teams and fits some of those things in their blocking mode and what they need to do at that league. So that being said, he knows he's got to play at a high level of energy and effort. He's been practicing that way, and he's got to be better. And he can make some plays in the pass game, but he's been awesome in kick coverage. He's been awesome in punt coverage. One, it helps our team. Two, he's a senior that you want to happen. And three, I think selfishly he knows it gives him a personal chance for how he needs to grow as a player.
You talked about Trey maybe getting past the funk a little bit. You mentioned before looking at what Northwestern did with Simeon and Coulter. With the way Trey's playing now, can you operate this more like what they do, basically that you can give Roberson a couple of drives that are his every game or something like that, just to, kind of keep more of a balance if Trey's, again, playing like the guy that you want him to be?
Potentially. I don't really, and I don't know if I can say we want to do it exactly. I'm not sure if I know exactly how they do it all the time. Right. But we do want a point where, like in the the Navy game, Nate had 6-7 quarterback draws. We need to run him. Same with Cam's in there. And when Trey's in there, I don't want it to be all of a sudden he's in here and it's a goal line play and everybody thinks it's Wildcat. Because defensive structures will change because of what they expect. So to me, he can make a lot of throws. I think he's a quarterback that's athletic. He's not an athlete. I think he's an athletic quarterback. And so potentially, yes, but again, where we're at, it's kind of hard. You always get worried about what do you get out of saying. Now, we do it in practice a lot, and I think we're getting to where maybe games you can. I don't necessarily think we're on and on. I don't know. We don't really sit. We sit around believing that those guys can make a lot of plays for us and just look at how to attack the defense. Hadn't talked a lot about quarterback deal, but those guys are all capable, and Cam is too if we need him. So I like this. Is it going to be that way this week? See, we're just sitting there right now looking at their formations and down in distance and start getting the game plan. But again, he can. Not down on Nate by any means. Thought he actually played pretty well. Said numbers might not be as well as the week before, but the week before he was actually missed some things he got away with. This game, some of the coverage, some of the misses were just a little bit off. He made the right reads and just timing a little bit off with what we're doing. So not down on him. I think he's awfully good. Counting on him playing great this week. Counting on Trey being a big part of what we're doing. Counting on him playing at a high level, and we'll just see how it goes. You guys good?
One more question. What do you like about what you're getting from John Lannon? He's a guy that's, as a walk-on kid's performed pretty well for you. He's got 3.5 sacks already.
We had there's a number of those guys, Dustin, and we've always, what we do, with those walk-ons, we've had a number of guys, starting with Heben and some guys at first year, like Dre Muhammad and some guys. We've had a number of guys. Jake Mahalik, has given us, some stuff, and Zapanzik's been on scholarship. What we do anytime you earn a scholarship here, it's been because we had 8 available. We didn't, we got it through attrition or someone leaving or a medical. If someone was deemed a medical, that freed a scholarship up. Those guys get that scholarship for 1 year. They then have to re-earn it back. So one thing that does, because I've been in places where the guy was so happy he got a scholarship, he quit working. And he was just like, hey, I've arrived. No, you hadn't. You're good enough. We gave you a scholarship. Now keep, help us. Keep contributing. So it's always 1 year and you earn it back and you earn it back. So that being said, that and just the way those guys continue to compete, practice. He's solid. He's smart. He's gotten stronger. Again, we're going to play 4-5. We're getting David Kinney out there a little bit more, which we need to. And that's a young guy that you're building confidence and trust in. But John is a quality, solid player that is a nice complementary piece. And this year it's his 4th year, and we'll address as this year goes. At the end, he could say this is his graduating year, take a 5th year. I think he will address that down the end. But John's doing well, and he's a positive part of what we're doing.